Hello, this is Lynn with Divine Reset, and I am here today for our episode number 8 of our Inspiration series, where we meet every Tuesday at 10:30 Mountain Standard Time. I am here because I'm very passionate in helping people. My focus right now is with women to find peace in their lives. We wear so many hats. We're wives, mothers, we work, we volunteer, we're concerned about our health, our weight, our appearance, and we get pulled in so many different directions. And so Divine Reset is designed to help you to feel peace, even if the house is figuratively burning down, that you will have so much peace within. You will know who you are, you will know your purpose, your dreams, and everything else will just calm down, and it really will happen. And that's why I'm here. And so with our inspiration series, I bring guests on that are going to help us attain that. And so today we have Harry Sherwood. He is based in Los Angeles, California. He is a world traveler. He has helped many people around the globe, and I'm so excited to have him with his knowledge. And the topic is so fitting for us, especially at this time of year. The holidays can be really stressful, but they don't have to be. And so I'm sure we're going to get some tips today, not just for our lives in general, for peace, and especially right now with the holidays. So thank you so much, Harry. I'm so grateful that you are here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and to talk about acceptance and resistance and any other things that come up.
Fabulous.
Yes.
So tell us, what do we need to know?
So just to give a quick background on myself, I am in Los Angeles, California. I'm one of the co-founders of Consciously.org, and we do holistic life coaching, and within that, meditation, nutrition, lifestyle coaching, and emotional release. And we take a spiritual perspective on things and dive deep into the holistic part of self. And so going right into what we're going to talk about today, I want to begin by kind of talking about who we are, who we identify as. And when I say I am, what do I mean in that moment? And so all of us, no matter where we live, when we live, and all the other factors, from the moment that we're born, we begin to be programmed by those that care for us. Now, this isn't a good thing or a bad thing. It just is the way that it is, based on the culture that we're born into. And so the number one thing we typically start to hear is the language, body language, physical or vocal language, so on and so forth. And as time goes on, we begin to learn other aspects like the society, the education, the religion, and so on and so forth, all different aspects of the culture that we're born into. Now, this doesn't just come from those that care for us. It starts to come from our peers, starts to come from teachers, starts to come from social media, literature, so on and so forth. And so we just keep intaking all of this stuff that programs us of how to be. So we start learning the right way to be and the wrong way to be. We start learning what's acceptable and what's unacceptable. We start learning what's rewarded and what's punished. And so we're filtered into what we are taught a good or right human being is, according to the paradigm that we're born into. Now, a really important part to understand about all this is that we're not learning a universal truth. We're learning what those that care for us's perspective is based off of their own programming. So if I'm born in Ghana 70 years ago versus born in the US today, it's very different. And based off of whoever's caring for me, what's right and what's wrong is relative to where I'm born. And so as we move and get older and older, we start to adopt beliefs, emotions, thought processes, actions that fall in line with what we have been taught. Now, If we don't like what we've been taught, then it starts to create some resistance. If we do like what we've been taught, then we follow that deeper, but it typically funnels us into a box, so to say. So kind of fast forwarding, what winds up happening is this creates a subconscious belief. And especially in the Western world, we start to look outside of ourselves for this version of how I should be. We start learning the shoulds. Harry should be a specific way. Linan should be a specific way. And what we do is we wind up trying to search for some perfect version of ourselves. I will be perfect when I have this type of house, this type of family, this type of car, this type of body, this type of relationship, this type of fill in the blank. And so that subconscious belief that is built is, I will be enough when. I will be whole when. I will be fulfilled when. And perfect when. Enlightened when. At peace when. Whatever it is. And going back to, some people wind up putting all their time and energy into their careers. Some people put all their time and energy into the way they look. Some people put all their time and energy into their families. How many times have you heard someone say, I want to find my other half out there so that I will become whole? We are literally taking our wholeness and putting it on something outside of ourselves. And so no matter what our when is, no matter what category of life it is, what we are all saying is, when I get there, wherever our top of the mountain is, wherever our there is, we all have a bunch of theirs, not just one, typically several theirs in life. And this starts to create the feeling of lack, the feeling like there's a puzzle piece missing in my life, like something's not right. And so we wind up trying to search for all of this. And that is when we start going outside of ourselves. And now, bringing in the topic of acceptance versus resistance, what this does is this creates a resistance to who we are. Because if I need to be something other than what I am in order to feel like I'm enough, then I am resisting what I am right now. So in the Western world specifically, most people live in a state of resistance to themselves, to life, to other people, to so many different aspects. Because it doesn't fit their should. It doesn't fit the way they should be according to the cultural programming that they were programmed with. And so most people in the Western world are programmed to be in a state of resistance to life, to themselves. And it's no wonder that there's an epidemic of physical health diseases, of mental health diseases, of people feeling more disconnected and alone than ever before. Yet we have more people in the world than ever before.
Yeah, even children.
Even children. In fact, we're getting a lot of clients coming in 16, 18, 19 years old who are deeply distraught because they can't put their finger on why they feel so disconnected.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we're looking at, especially in the Western paradigm today. Most people live in a constant state of resistance. So the question is what do I do about this, Harry? And what psychology, psychiatry, some more of the Western perspective of mental health, and then you get into spirituality, whether really kind of not depending on, most of them talk about solutions. And within that, often what you'll hear from coaches or any of those categories, they'll say, so let's go ahead and let's change your belief system. Let's go ahead and change your habits. Let's go ahead and release traumas if there's traumas blocking there and there. Let's go ahead and change your preferences, your likes and dislikes, so that we can, help you step into a less resistant state of being. And while that is all very powerful, if you think about the yin yang in Taoism, there's a balance to be had. And all of those, if we for anyone unfamiliar with the yin yang, it is the duality of life. So within that, there's one side that is a do. I am actionably doing something. And there's another side, which is be, which is I am accepting and being in a deep state of me. All of those are do's. Releasing this, changing beliefs. They're all action-oriented steps. And they're very powerful. We utilize all of them. Most factions do. However, what it can do is it can put us right back into the same hamster wheel of I will be enough when I've changed my habits and my beliefs, when I've let go of all of my traumas and my preferences and so on and so forth, when I've meditated for 20 years, when I've got the perfect coach, whatever it is, we just create another top of the mountain to be reached outside of ourselves. Mm. And so what the other side of the yin yang tells us to be, it teaches us to be, is the exact opposite of resistance. It just says, wherever you are, whatever your circumstance, whoever you are, accept it. Step into acceptance of life as it is in this moment. And that's a deeply profound thing to just sit with. Can I accept who I am in all of my aspects? Not just my highlight reel that I showed everyone, but my blooper reel that I hide. Not just the part of me that fits the social paradigm and that's acceptable, but the part of me that the shadow self, the part that I don't like to talk about or that I repress or that, it's the dark, grimy stuff. Can I accept everything? Most people, the answer is no. Most people, we run from shadow. Mm-hmm. We don't want to sit there. Can I accept the world as it is? I mean, there's so many things. We talked about the epidemic of physical and mental health. Can I accept that? Can I accept all the atrocities that are happening? Doesn't mean I have to support it, and it doesn't mean I don't take action against it. But can I accept it? Or am I still living in a state of resistance to the way the world is? Am I still living in a state of resistance to how my mother-in-law should be because she always judges me, or, this guy or that person? How many people do we judge? How many people do we resist because of X, Y, or Z? So can I accept life as it is in this moment? And Lao Tzu, the father of Taoism, says, let reality be reality. Let reality be reality. And when we do that, if you think of resistance as a gate, when we're resistance, we're blocking off our connection to the Tao, to the deeper source, you could put almost any spiritual tradition's terminology in here, but we're blocking ourselves from it, that spiritual disconnect that so many people are experiencing. But when we step into acceptance, we open that up and we accept the great perfection as it is. And we open ourselves to harmonizing with life itself as it is. And that's when we let in the sacred. That's when we let in the divine, because we're no longer resisting it, because we don't have this expectation of the way it should look, of how we should be in order to feel it. We drop all of those beliefs and we just step in. Yeah, I even accept that I might not be willing to accept that. How deep can I accept? And when I do, I open myself to that spiritual connection. I open myself to two really awesome questions. And the first one is, what if I was already whole? What if I actually have never not been whole? And the only reason that I think that I am is because I've been programmed from the moment I came to this earth that I needed to be something else, that I needed to achieve some level of something in order to be enough. And what if that's all a lie? What if I'm already whole? And that brings up the second question, which is, in everything every there I've ever had, every when I've ever had, what if everything I've always been looking for is just myself, being whole in myself? Because when one experiences that true wholeness, that spiritual wholeness, that spiritual connection, there is not a want or a desire in the world. It is truly, I am complete. I have arrived. There's nowhere else for me to go. I'm here. I am whole. And when we can live from that place, that's when the yin yang comes back in. Then we've found the true be. But remember, there's still the do. The do doesn't go away. So then I start doing my career, living my life as a human, interacting with others, and social connection from a place of wholeness and completeness. And literally, this can all come just from accepting what is. Now, it might not be easy and it might take a little time. But if I practice acceptance, I truly find a deeper connection with myself and with life. And then I can live from that place instead of always trying to strive for it with it being a carrot dangling on the end of a stick.
Yes. And with Divine Reset, if I may interject, it's a reset.
Mm.
The idea is it's a 360-degree turn. It's not a 180, because we were and perfect when we arrived at this earth. Our being was perfect.
Mm.
And then the programming happens. But our being is still perfect. We're just in a body now with a lot of decisions and hats that we're wearing. And when you were talking about lack, I immediately thought of the word loss.
Mm.
Because it is a loss of self. And
Yeah.
so that battle that happens within is, I mean, you're losing yourself. And people talk about that. I've lost myself. I've lost who I am. I've lost dreams. And so lack is really pretty detrimental. It's a loss.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also a veil. It's a veil that is draped over us to make us believe that we are separate from others, separate from life, separate from our true self. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the original lie, is that there is separation. And
Yeah.
I mean, I could go really deep into this because this is fun and I enjoy it a lot, but I don't know how much time we have. But yes, lack is very, I mean, that is essentially the opposite of wholeness and completeness.
Right. And that's the purpose for Divine Reset, definitely, is that we can be whole, and even when the house is burning down, that we really, really have that complete wholeness,
Mm.
the unity with our higher power and who we are, who we're designed to be, and live fully from that space.
And it's not that it's not that quote unquote problems or challenges disappear. It's that we are just in a different place when they come. There are still the peaks and the troughs of life, such as energy, because literally an energy wave, that is how it is. So we still go through this, but imagine being whole and complete and not being knocked, 4 levels off track as a result of something that's happening. It starts to, if we can be in acceptance there and know that we are whole and complete there, everything changes. Everything changes.
Yes, that's very well said. So, Harry, could you give some tips for people that struggle with letting go and just, well, letting go is probably not the right phrase, but accepting?
Mm.
Um, what would you say to someone that is, they're really new to that concept?
Yeah.
Some people actually like to sit in what's dealt them. They like to sit in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I would say that whether you like to sit in the shadow or not, whatever comes up and whenever something comes up, practice the acceptance. And the best way to do that is to sit down, just take a few deep breaths, close your eyes, and just become aware of what is. Because we can't accept what we're not aware of. And so if we just begin to meditate just a little bit, becoming aware, okay, I feel my feet on the ground, my sits bones in the chair, I feel the temperature of the room on my skin. Okay, so that's now your physical senses you're tuning into. Feel your heartbeat, spend some time there. Doesn't need to be long, just a couple of minutes. Then come into your mental processes. Okay, there's a lot of thoughts going on. Just become aware of them. Don't try to control them. Don't try to kick them out. Don't try to judge them. Just become aware of them the same way you're becoming aware of the senses in the body. Okay, there's thinking, become aware of your thinking. Now let's try to tune outside of ourselves. Okay, my eyes are closed, so I'm going to become aware of what I hear. There's a buzzing from the fridge, or I'm outside, there's some chirping of the birds. It's an awareness process. Physical body, mental, external. Once you've made it to that place, you're aware. of as much as you're probably going to be aware of in that moment, then practice acceptance. And one of the most beautiful ways to do that is to shift your perspective into, for this next 5 minutes, everything is perfect just the way it is. So if I'm resistant and I get fidgety because I don't like meditating, that is perfect. If I start judging myself because I suck at acceptance, that is perfect. If peace overcomes me and it's overwhelming, that is perfect. So no matter what happens over the next 5 minutes, once you become aware, accept it, because it's all part of the great perfection. And when we can start to build the neural connections that perceive life as perfect, then it's so much easier to be in a state of acceptance of what comes, because we see it as this larger design, this intelligent flow of life happening, this unfolding in the present moment as perfect. So even my foot falling asleep, even me being restless, even me being judgmental, accept it. And the more you accept those things, the less you start to judge people, because you start to accept them for who they are. You start to accept yourself for who you are. You start to accept life for who it is. And it builds a muscle of acceptance. So let the process take however long the process takes, but start by tuning into what is. Become aware of what is in this moment, sit with it, and then perceive it as perfect as it comes in. And notice how, oh, well, I don't have to be a certain way in meditation, or I don't have to feel a certain way, or I don't have to meditate for 20 years first. It's just, no, right now, as it is, accept it.
Exactly. Because it goes back to well, I should be this, but no,
Exactly.
just accept it. And whatever it is, that's what it is.
Exactly. We cut off the shoulds. And on the biological level, every single time we have a thought or an emotion, there's a neural connection that is connected in our brains. So that every time that comes back up as I'm practicing acceptance, but I stay present with it and I see it as perfect, I'm disconnecting it and I'm creating a new neural charge to it. So I'm literally rewiring my brain. It's called neurogenesis. And we can do that. We can rewire our brains to what we choose. But most people were stuck in the past with our frustrations and our judgments and our preferences, so that we just keep rewiring the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
The more we become present, the more we step into acceptance, we change the way our brain functions, which changes how we perceive life.
Yes.
And that is a deep power of meditation.
So amazing. That is so exciting. The miracles that can happen, and we have control. We really have a lot of control. We just need to take that step and be aware, and don't be afraid. I want to challenge the listeners to not be afraid, because that fear is going to keep you stuck. And for me, the reason why I began Divine Reset was because I had health problems. I didn't understand where they came from. I felt that I was a healthy person, and I developed an autoimmune disease that really stinks. I can't be in the sun, and my favorite place in the world is laying out on a beach and swimming in the ocean. And I can't do that unless I'm covered up with an umbrella and, head to toe covered. But I'm working on reversing that. And so I think that is a fabulous end to the message for today for our inspiration series. And if you could sum up your message, Harry, in a sentence, what would it be?
In one sentence, step into acceptance of what is, and magic will appear.
Amen. Amen. So thank you so much, Harry. This is Harry Sherwood. That's our guest today. And you can contact him through consciously.org. And so grateful that we had this time with you, Harry, and very honored with your experience and your blessings to gift us of your knowledge and the beautiful spirit that you bring to this earth. Thank you so much.
That is greatly appreciated, and I want to shine some gratitude back on you. And these types of conversations and putting these out to groups of people in the world is part of the shift that's happening in the world. So I honor you for doing this work and for being the space holder for this work. It's really powerful and it does make a difference. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I feel it. All right, let's change the world. All right, take care.